I think maybe ministers, let me start with the question on the ZEP. And I thought colleagues from the media would be familiar with this matter. It's already pronounced on this matter following a decision by the Supreme Court. Now, the Court remitted the matter of the ZEP back to the Department of Home Affairs. So that's back to the Minister of Home Affairs and the Director General. What then are we supposed to do? On the ZEP, the Court directed that the minister must conduct what is known as a fair and proper public consultation process on the ZEP. We have been on that process. We've been to all the provinces to solicit inputs from all stakeholders. And once we have consolidated those inputs, therefore, that will then be taken by the Minister of Home Affairs to Cabinet for consideration. And that's where we are with regards to that. Just by way of numbers, Brawidi, if you look at the entire population of the ZEP holders, it's about 178,763. So that Concord decision basically indicates that they remain legal in the country by virtue of that Concord decisions. Now, a lot of them have been applying for what is known as waiver applications. About 93,000 of those, 93,702, have been approved or considered by the minister. But so far, there are also ZEPs that are now applying for what the minister referred to earlier on, mainstream visas. We have 17 visa categories and about 46,736 of Zimbabwean ZEP holders that have applied for these permits. Now, there was also a question that was raised similarly with regards to what then happens with regards to the status of them in the country. And that's what Minister or Professor Kachalia was referring to, that those that are in the country legally are protected by the laws of the Republic of South Africa. Now, you also make mention of ZEP children. And remember, the children take the status of the parents in terms of our laws. So if they're an asylum seeker or a refugee, therefore they take the same status of the parent until they reach a particular age 16. Then they can then apply on their own for other permits. Now, just to remind colleagues that in 2019, Judge Mbenenge made a ruling. It's called the Phakamisa judgment, which included the Center for Child Law and Phakamisa High School and a number of others. Now, if you look at that judgment very carefully, it basically says, irrespective of the status of the learner, they have access to education. Therefore, no principal can send them away. Now, Minister Motshekga, when she was Minister of Basic Education, followed that up with a circular that was issued on the 10th of February 2020, affirming the court's decision. And therefore, there's no principal who can turn away any child from a school based on the fact that they don't have that status. That's with regards to that. I think on the amnesty, Minister, Professor Kachalia has responded to that. Those are the only ones that I think I can deal with, except the two on children that might be leaving the country without their parents. That's incorrect, ministers. We have social development right at the center, at the temporary repatriation center. There were two cases that were reported that I was personally involved with. The two minors were from Zimbabwe and their mom was across. And therefore social development intervened and the mom was then recalled by the embassy and our own team of social development officials. They were then called back to come and collect the children once they have been processed. And then, of course, the other one relates to someone who was staying with a Malawian national. They've got 3 children together, but she's a South African. There are also ministers, undocumented South Africans that do not have any documentation. Neither did the mother and the 3 children have any documentation, and therefore social development intervened. They are liaising with the social development colleagues in the province. In the meantime, the mom and the children were taken to a place of safety in Musina while we await that process. So it's incorrect that wrong children are taken through to wrong buses. But remember, at the center, we have representatives from the consular support that is provided by Zimbabwe, consular support that is provided by Malawi. Before anyone boards that bus, and we have been able to commission more than 823 buses, everyone has to be verified. That's what the minister was referring to in the body receipt. So there's a passenger manifest, and in the documentation that the embassy issues, it indicates this is such and such a passenger with the following children. And interviews are conducted at the site by the embassy officials. So I'll be very interested in these cases, Prawili. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The government of South Africa is comprehensively responding to issues related to migration. The government of South Africa is comprehensively updating the nation and everyone on the implementation of the 5-point plan. Hence, you see us allowing all the questions that are here. Minister?
Oh, I thought you were closing. Okay. No, it's fine. There was just to, let me just go because I'm trying to see some of this. Unless if you've not placed them on record, because we're trying. DG Makore has responded to how we've been managing, and I want to refer and emphasize there's not been, because if we start removing children, we don't treat them correctly, it means we are violating human rights laws. It's not correct. We've been compliant, and that's why we highlighted the bodies, UN bodies. We have highlighted the NGOs on the site that have been monitoring our work, and that's why we could explain what we are doing. The issue of, there was a question that relates to the case of Mr. Kuma extradition. We will update once the papers have been received by the Department of Justice, because they have to go to court to confirm extradition. We must receive an extradition request from Britain, and then once it's done, it's processed through NPA, and then it comes to the minister. Once that is done, it's confirmed by the court, and the person can be placed. Minister signs for Interpol to take the person. So that's the process that we'll work on in terms of that process. I think we'll update once that is done. The issues around communities we've verified, we've answered. I don't think there's anything. Then there's questions. Please, let's focus on migration. Let's not deal with side issues. Brawili, I remember on Friday, I was in another briefing, and then they started asking me about migration. So I said, can they allow me not to deal with the work of moonlighting as a migration officer? So even here, I would like us to focus. DG, there's an issue about the SIU work. Oh, he's answered it.
He has not placed them.
Oh, they've not placed them. That's why I'm ready to go. Okay, let me allow them to place those.